Oh, hello there. I'm Bilchan.
I'm Nimakung.
I'm Banchan.
In this class, I'll read to all of you. Chapter 6, Section 4 of the picture of Dorian Gray.
As.
Ah.
The picture of Dorian Gray. Oscar Wilde. Chapter 6, Section 4. But surely, if one lives merely for oneself, Ari, one pays a terrible price for doing so, suggests the painter. Yes, we're overcharged for everything nowadays. I should fancy that the real tragedy of the poor is that they can afford nothing but self-denial. Beautiful sins. Like beautiful things. What sort of ways? Or, I should fancy in remorse. Suffering. Well. Lord Henry shrugged his shoulders. My dear fellow, medieval art is charming. But medieval emotions are out of date. One can use them in fiction. Of course. But then the only things that one can use in fiction are the things that one has ceased to use in fact. Believe me, no civilized man ever regrets a pleasure. I know what pleasure is, cried Dorian Gray. That is certainly better than being adored, he answered, showing with some fruits. Being adored is a nuisance. Women treat us just as humanity treats its gods. They worship us. I should have said that whatever they ask for they had first given to us, murmured the lad gravely. They create them in our natures. That is quite true. Dorian cried forward. Nothing is ever quite true, said Lord Henry. This is, interrupted Dorian. You must admit. Ari. Possibly, he sighed. But they invariably want it back in such very small change. That is the worry. Women. As some witty Frenchman once put it. Ari. You are dreadful. You are always like me. Dorian, he replied. Will you have some coffee? You fellows. Waiter. Bring coffee. And fine champagne. And some cigarettes. No. Don't mind the cigarettes, have some. Basil. I can't allow you to smoke cigars. You must have a cigarette. A cigarette is the perfect type of a perfect pleasure. It is exquisite. And it leaves one unsatisfied. What more can one want? Yes. Dorian. You will always be fond of me. What nonsense you talk. Harry, cried the lad, taking a light from a fire-breathing silver dragon that the waiter had placed on the table. Let us go down to the theatre. When Sybil comes on the stage, you will have a new ideal of life. I have known everything, said Lord Henry, with a tired look in his eyes. But I am always ready for a new emotion. I am afraid, however, that, for me at any rate, there is no such thing. Still, your wonderful goal may thrill me. I love acting. It is so much more real than life. Let us go. Dorian, you will come with me. I am so sorry. Basil. But there is only room for two in the Burfam. They got up and put on their coats, sipping their coffee standing. The painter was silent and preoccupied. There was a gloom over him. He could not bear this marriage, and yet it seemed to be better than many other things that might have happened. After a few minutes, they all passed downstairs. He drove off by himself, as had been arranged, and watched the flashing lights of the little Burfam in front of him. A strange sense of loss came over him. He felt that Dorian Gray would never again be to him all that he had been in the past. Life had come between them. His eyes darkened, and the crowded, flaring streets became blurred to his eyes. When the cab drew up at the theatre, it seemed to him that he had grown years older. To be continued.